Thank you. Mr. Toastmaster, members and guests. As Pinky has just outlined, this is my first icebreaker, so please be gentle. The title of this is I'm only here for a short time, but I'm here for a good time. This has been a catch-cry of mine through my life, and I'd like to take you through 4 episodes that will hopefully explain why that's so. The first episode, I was but a mere small chap, 5 years old, at my primary school. I thought everybody else knew everything. I knew nothing. On Mondays, we were told to write, what did I do on the weekend? So I wrote about the usual, what I ate and what I played with. At this point, my father was engaged in karate, the martial art. I put this in my what I did. Then the crusty, venerable Mrs. Morris called me to the front. She knew everything as far as I was concerned. She asked me, what is this karate? And I was flabbergasted. I thought, how could this person who knew everything not possibly know about karate? This taught me a lesson, that yes, you could know things that maybe other people don't, and you also have your own personal knowledge of things. The second event was in relation to how I got to university. I had a particular problem as a teenager. I didn't go on a bus. I couldn't get on a bus. I was too frightened to get on a bus. Now, as a teenager, I'd already done the school thing. I was pretty confident I was going to get to university. The problem being, of course, how would I get to university? And how one day would I ever return safely from the university if I didn't use some form of transport? I used to stress at night time on this. What would I do? What would happen? All the unthinkables. It reached a climax when I had to go to an open day at the university that I wanted to attend. I decided that I would write down everything to do with the trip, the plan, what would I do, what would happen if I got lost, everything. It was a military campaign. Suffice to say, I got to the university, enjoyed the open day, and returned safely. My experience from this is that, yes, there may be insurmountable problems, but through planning and forethought, you can usually cover most of them. And don't hold yourself back. The third event in my life, at this stage, I was in my early 20s. I'd done the university thing, and now it was time to get a job. I was very lucky that the then Telecom Australia invited me to Australia to work for them. On the way, I holidayed through New Zealand, and the craze of bungee jumping was starting. And I thought, well, time to challenge myself physically. There I was, on the edge, countdown going down. All I had to do was step out, and you have this feeling of being glued to the spot. I don't know if anyone's actually tried it. If you haven't, the nearest thing I can think of is picking up a very hot cup of coffee, and your instincts saying, drop it, but your conscious mind saying no, because that would make a mess. So there I was, rooted to the spot in this conflict, but I just stepped off. My take on this was that if you trust the process, you have confidence, you can follow through and achieve things. The fourth event. By now, I'd gotten to Australia, worked for various companies, hopefully had a reasonably successful time in IT, but had the realization that I was probably the oldest guy there. What would happen to all the old guys? And what was all this new stuff people were learning? It really had a big problem for me because I didn't know what the next best thing was. So I decided to learn SharePoint. I applied for jobs that I possibly wasn't qualified for. The particular one I applied for was for a technical product manager. I have no idea what that was. However, through the coercion of my wife, the foresight of the HR manager, and honesty and experience, secured the job I'm in now, working at Nintex, which, incidentally, just won the best place to work in the BIW magazine. We beat Google this year.
Wow.
So, yes, very happy about that. My take on that, again, is you're never too old. You can always teach an old dog new tricks. To finish, I've been here for a short time. I hope you've had a good time and that you've learned something from my experiences and can hopefully apply them to yours.